Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Helen, your Emotion Code and Body Code Certified Practitioner, coming to you from the Inside Out Institute. Great to have you along in a brand new series. Yes, we are talking about burnout. And I don't know about you, whether you've ever experienced a burnout, but I have, and it absolutely sucks. I was driving to work one day and I just started crying. I was really crying, and I had to turn the car around and go back home. I could not face going into work. I was completely overwhelmed. I had hit the wall, and I couldn't. It's like when you get so many things on your plate that one more thing is just the thing that's going to tip everything over. And that was what happened for me. And it was just a stupid little thing. I used to have not so stupid. I used to have my computer blue screen. And so I'd lose work and I'd have to start again. And it was so frustrating. And I guess I just reached the point where, I just didn't have any ways or anything to come back from that. And so I was out for 2 weeks. So what we want to do is look at this series where we can prevent you even getting to that point. So you can start to recognize the signs, like, you're always getting sick, you have no energy, you're lacking creativity, and you just don't feel happy. Those are all signs of an impending burnout. And it could be directly from your work, or it could be all the other pressures you have on around you happening. So let's get into it. This series, this first episode, we are talking about finding a creative outlet. And why is that important? Well, let me tell you. So we have 5 brain rhythms, and I'm just going to talk about 2 of them here, because the one that you're operating in most of your day is a beta brain rhythm. That's where you've got lots of activity. It's happening, you're onto it, you're doing it and that. But it's the alpha brain rhythm that is the one that you go into, like when you're meditating. And that's where your creativity comes to you. And that's where your whole body is allowed to calm down. And so like being in beta is fantastic for the bulk of it, for the bulk of your day, but you need to make sure that you also go in and out of alpha, just to give you that really good balance in your day. So it's like taking that 5-minute meditation at lunchtime and things like that. But let's also talk about some creative ways to release energy and fight stress, because this all comes from, having something, a passion, creativity to do. So let's give you some examples right from the outset, and then we'll see. It's sort of things like drawing, painting, woodworking, fixing cars, cooking, photography. People that come home from work and they just love cooking dinner, because that puts them into a Zen state. It takes them away from their day, and they just can focus on being creative. And I used to do that for many years. I loved cooking. I've kind of changed a bit since then, but that's okay. But yeah, that was my Zen place. I would go in and I would create. So it's about finding that place for you. And the reason it's important is exactly as I said, it is your stress release. It is your Zen place. It's where you just let all the cares of the world drop away from you. And often, when you're in this place, because you lose all track of time. When you're doing something really love, and then you look at the clock and you go, oh my gosh, where did all that time go? Well, that's how you know you're in an alpha brain rhythm. That's how you know you're in a really good, relaxing, calming space. And, like you might say, well, that's a bit of a luxury with everything I've got going on. But I think you can't afford not to have it happening. Like, do you need to sleep? Do you sleep? Yes, you have to find sleep. Do you have to eat? Yes, you find time to eat. Do you like exercising? Yes, you find time to exercising. It's the same thing. You have to find time for this. And I'll tell you a couple of more reasons why. Because, you know, when you're doing this creative exercise, it's giving you self-expression. You know, creative pursuits give us a chance to connect with all our emotions of love and joy and anger and sorrow and fear and so much more. And when we connect with those emotions, it gives us the opportunity to transform them. So instead of being reactive to them, we can start having awareness around them. We can start recognizing, and when we can start preventing those ones that we don't want have happening from happening. So, you know, it's like when you wind up, you know, you've been wind yourself up in fear or anxiety and even anger, and then you sit down and you do something. Like for me, it's logic puzzles. When I do logic puzzles, everything else goes away. And then I find with even 5 minutes of doing that, I've come from all those negative emotions into a really different, completely different state. And that's what we want you to do when you're doing this creative activity. Maybe yoga, maybe going for a walk, maybe running, whatever it is. And it's self-forgetting. So it helps you forget yourself. So that's really, really important. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. You know, how to get yourself out of that state where you're sort of heading towards a burnout. You're recognizing the signs. You know that you can do a creative pursuit, activity that's going to sort of calm you down. And then you've got a whole different perspective. So tune in again tomorrow. Always love having you with me. And until I see you next time, you take